Hi, I'm Robin Ryback, and welcome to our Data, Our Future. This seventh episode is the three I's of data, where we'll talk about handing over three types of data: our identification, our individuality, and our intimacy. And we're particularly interested in the third I, not often discussed: our private thoughts and feelings, our intimacy.
So I'm Stephen Oram, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. I think picking up on those three aspects, it strikes me they're a kind of a continuum. It's not like this, and this, and I think that it depends on who you are as to what you see in each kind of category of that. So it's probably worth just exploring what we mean by those by those categories. So first one, identification. This is pretty simple. I think this is what is it? What data is it that's needed to basically validate that you are you? So if you're going to collect a parcel, you're going to go through passport control. It's usually pretty simple, something, bit of photo ID, and that's your identification. Obviously online, it might be bank details or other things. So um, but I think there's probably ways that itself might develop over time. Do you think?
I think so. I mean, I think it's pretty standard now. We have our passport. We here have our real ID, things like that. It might evolve. Uh, what I wanted to bring up here is that we take it as standard now, and I remember a time uh, in the 1990s where nobody did this. And it has become normalized. It's had to become normalized because our world changed, but we did have to adjust and we adjusted quickly. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm all struck by some of the younger people I know who have to show ID to buy a drink at the bar. When I was young, it was basically if you could convince the barman that you were old enough, that was it. You didn't have to like
Oh, well,
prove.
good for you. That was not the case here. We had to show ID
So,
or get a
as you
fake ID,
say,
whatever.
it's kind of changed. Um, the second of these, individuality, I think is a really interesting one. So if you kind of take it a bit further into what is the data that is individual to you, so that could be your height, your weight, your sexuality, your race, could be all sorts of different things, and it's that combination of things obviously that are facts about yourself. And where I think this is really interesting is where we get into, that's in my mind, that's the kind of demographic data that if you're going to do population statistics, you kind of need to categorize people, you need to be grouping people together. And final thought from me on that is, in that, if you're not part of that data, if you don't take part in that, the trade-off is that data then doesn't take you into account when it does health things, or even the shape of seats in a car, for
Mhm.
instance. You're not factored in. So but I think that for me, that's what individuality and data means.
And that's an important point because I think that we're still at the point where we're skittish about it and we think of um, giving our data as giving away and giving something that we don't want to share. But you bring up a good point. You bring up the inclusivity, which means that there's an upside when I'm giving my height, my weight, my race, all of this. Most of it that is voluntary. But when I give that, it puts me in a position where I can be included, and the world around me can accommodate to me, to my specifics.
Yeah, and I think kind of thinking through that is a really important thing for all of us to do. And obviously there's things like trust and all the rest of it in there, but as we're being more positively orientated, I think
Mm.
being part of stuff and insisting on the right privacy and all that kind of thing is probably a good place to be. And then yeah, the final one, intimacy. I, to me, this somebody once said like, don't talk about data privacy, talk about data intimacy, and it made me start thinking about intimacy. And I think that the kind of data where I know you might be discussing something quite private or your feelings or I know some health problem, whatever it is, but it's much more sort of inside stuff. Of course, that's gold dust to marketeers because then they kind of know, I'm having trouble getting pregnant. Brilliant. Like send them send them these adverts, which is the negative. So I think working out that the kind of what these different things mean. I mean, intimacy. You'll probably have a slightly different take to me on it, but I think yeah, I'm gonna let you talk about intimacy because I've kind of
Right.
run out.
Right, right. Well, to me, I think of sort of data intimacy as what makes me me. You can take information about my weight, my height, and all that, but there's another deeper level, which is when I'm having a private conversation with somebody, or what makes me me at the core. My thoughts, my feelings, how I react to things. Those are aspects of my personality that nobody can take and that nobody can steal. And I think that there's a little bit of a gray area in people's minds about feeling and thinking that once we give away the second tier, that's the individuality, that we are being stolen, that we're being taken away. But what we have to realize that there's a third level, a deeper level, that if we want to, if we want to talk about our pregnancy test or whatever it is, that's up to us. Right now, nobody's making us do that, and I can't imagine that that would happen in the future. And that third level, that data intimacy, who am I, is what we're trying to preserve and what we're trying to keep close to the vest, so to speak. But we never really do have to give it up. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I agree, and I think coming back to that idea of the continuum and where do you feel comfortable on this continuum, and um, it feels to me as if you shift your mind away from it's all or nothing and start thinking through these three kind of lenses. First of all, I think, well, certainly for me, I would feel much more in control because it's not everything or nothing. I think, and therefore, as you're sort of saying, sharing the data around individuality, the kind of risk and the fear around all that diminishes because you understand actually that's not the full me, and I don't have to. If I do that, I don't have to do all the other stuff. I mean, if you want to talk about intimate stuff with the chat bot and have that scraped, like that's that's up to you, but do it knowingly and kind of think through where you're at. And I would hope that thinking through it in this way would help us all just relax a little bit. Like we are sharing data. Like that's the world. So
right.
let's lean into it, but let's lean into a nuanced version of it that we understand and have some agency in it. I know it's a very popular word at the moment, but let's take agency in terms of our data sharing. And yeah,
Yeah, and the other way to say it is sort of conversely, um, not all data is the same. And when a person or an organization is asking you for data, don't lump it all in one and think to bristle and say they want me. No,
yeah,
me is back there. They're asking you for identification points and data points about you, but is that really you?
yeah. And if they're asking for more than that and they don't need it, you'll be kind of cognizant of
Right.
what's going on. Yeah. So hopefully these three eyes, particularly the third one, as we said, uh, are a good way of thinking about data sharing and data collection.
Well, it has certainly given me things to think about and made the whole issue clear for me, just,
Yeah,
in our
me too.
discussion. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
me as well.
All right. All right. Until next time.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.